Hello, I'm Mark Teskey, and I'm here at Polishing the Pulpit. I have with me my good friend Joe Wells. Joe, good to have you with us today.
Thanks, Mark. Glad to be here with you, man.
Oh, and you brought your family to PTP this year?
I did. My wife Erin and I, we have 4 children, and we've been coming to Polishing the Pulpit, I guess, for 6 years, and we've been able to see our young children grow up here, really, and really want our kids to be around the other families that are here. You know, from a standpoint of we understand that their friendships are going to be those that we expose them to, and so what better place to expose them than at Polishing the Pulpit?
Fantastic. Have they made any neat friendships with some of the speakers, some of the guys become idols to them?
Well, you know what I love is that the other day one of my children, and I can't remember which one it was, one of them said, "Dad, we know him because you're always talking about him." And so my kids are getting to be exposed to these guys, and that's important to me because I want them to have positive Christian role models. And I don't know, my concept is what better place than here at Polishing the Pulpit. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your work with Kaio. How are things going? What new things you got going?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Kaio Publications was founded a few years ago. My wife and I founded it. It's a nonprofit publishing company. And our main goal is to help families to grow in the Lord. That's what our objective is. And so what we do is we publish materials that are meant to equip fathers to be the fathers that God's called them to be, mothers to be the mothers that God has called them to be, and children also to be the children God's called them to be. And so that's what we are. We produce resources, and one of those resources that we have is our family devotional series. We know that the church will be stronger if the families are stronger.
Amen.
And so the concept is, let's get our families studying the Bible at home, even with young children. And so our family devotional series is an object lesson-based series, 365 lessons, and it really is as simple as this. You can go into the kitchen and grab a spatula, and by using that object, you can actually conduct a devotional and teach a spiritual principle that the children will tie back to the object that you use. So we have things from the great outdoors, from sports, from even the craft room. So we're very excited about building up the family.
So everything they see around the house reminds them of a lesson that they've learned.
And yes, and that's the concept that we read of in the Scriptures. And you know, I really believe it's not that we teach them just on Sundays and Wednesdays, but this becomes a lifestyle. You know, if Christianity is only something they pull out on Sundays and Wednesdays, then they have such a skewed view of what it means to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. And so what we want to do is we want to empower. I don't know how else to say that. So many times moms and dads are intimidated by the responsibility to teach at home. And so what we want to do is make that easy by giving them good resources.
Fantastic. Now, what age group of children? Is this something that just for younger kids, or can maybe middle school or even high school kids, parents with kids in those areas be involved in this as well?
Yeah, no, it really is for all ages. When we wrote it, and we had people throughout the country help us write it, in mind we had the idea of just simply tying spiritual principles to objects, letting those objects be kind of the pen that people can think of and tie those together. We've had individuals, even ministers, come by and ask if they could utilize those as object lessons for Wednesday night devotionals. We've had people utilize them in Bible class as curriculum. And families, even with teenagers, will talk about the benefit of that with their teenager, because it is a tangible lesson. They can utilize it. So.
Yeah, having that visual side to it really helps a lot of people in their learning and understanding of the lesson.
Absolutely, and if you look in the Bible, that's what Jesus would do. Jesus would utilize those objects, the places that they were, the things that people knew, and he would tie them back to spiritual principles. So that's what we do.
Okay, and how's your speaking going? I know you spend a lot of time on the road speaking different places. How much of that is taking up your time lately?
Yeah, no, I am privileged to be asked to come in and speak, and it's a huge honor. And as far as how much time is it taking, I usually do about 6 meetings a year. But the beautiful thing about working with families and young people is you can go in on a Friday and speak on a Friday night and a Saturday and really have an intensive weekend. And then that not take one of the 6, I guess you would say, gospel meeting type settings. So I do gospel meetings as well, but I also have Friday and Saturday youth rallies that I do.
Fantastic, fantastic. Joe, it's so good to see you again, and I hope this week is a blessing for you, and the work at Kaio continues to go great.
Thanks, brother.
Good to see you, my friend.